Get 100 plus channels. Take the show on the road. Download the free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications
Signaturetv, news in your pocket.
New every morning on Signaturetv, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem.
There's no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
We are local.
International communities observing
Why the main market is in chaos. People are
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye. We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV. We open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem.
There is no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on E-Vibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every
to Global News on Signature TV. I am Barry Kumo Ado. In the headlines, Defense Minister shows Tinubu of renewed military commitments following salary increase for military personnel. Two former River State governors differ on feud between the Catholic Church and the presidency. World Bank tells developing countries to embrace AI or be left behind. Trump says Iran will be hit very hard if the Hormuz Strait is not opened as soon as possible. Details in a moment.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
The Minister of Defense, retired General Christopher Musa, has expressed appreciation to President Bola Tinubu for approving a salary increase of between 30 and 80% for personnel of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, describing the decision as a major boost to troop welfare and morale. The statement issued by its media aide, Leah Kantung Babatunde, the minister said a new salary structure will take effect from September 1, 2026, will benefit about 250,000 military personnel across the services. General Musa said the structure of a salary review demonstrates the president's commitment to prioritizing the welfare of frontline troops and further reinforces the administration's commitment to security sector reform. The minister urged officers and men of the armed forces to regard the improved conditions of service as a renewed call to duty by intensifying efforts to neutralize security threats, protect civilian lives, and restore peace across the country. He also reaffirmed the commitment of the Ministry of Defense to President Tinubu's agenda of modernizing military equipment, strengthening technological capacity, and improving the welfare of military personnel and their families. A new salary structure announced on Tuesday by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo ENUGU, raises the annual military wage bill from 660 billion naira to 924 billion naira. Under the new package, personnel from the rank of private to staff sergeant receive an 80% salary increase. Those from warrant officer to colonel will get a 50% increase, while senior officers above the rank of colonel will receive a 30% pay rise. The Defense Headquarters has expanded its surrender policy for non-state actors nationwide, previously limited largely to terrorists and bandits operating at the northeast, northwest, and north central to the southeast, south-south, and southwest regions. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, disclosed this in Abuja while responding to questions on the recent surrender of some militants to troops of Operation Udoka in the southeast. Onoja said that the armed forces continue to act in line with its rules of engagement, international humanitarian law, and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They don't give any deadline for non-state actors wishing to lay down their arms. The development comes days after the Nigerian Army announced that sustained military operations under Operation Udoka had compelled members of a militant group in the southeast to voluntarily surrender their weapons. The Army said troops of the 82 Division Joint Task Force Southeast recovered an AK-47 rifle, 2 AK-47 magazines, 54 rounds, 7.62 mm special ammunition, and 4 locally fabricated firearms after one of the suspects led troops to the group's armory. The Nigerian Police Force says it remains committed to due process, institutional discipline, and the rule of law in the handling of a controversy surrounding social media influencer Martin Sotse, popularly known as Very Dark Man, and the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 2 Lagos, Moshood Jimo. The SMN posted on X, the Force Public Relations Officer, Annie Nedu, said the criminal matter referenced in recent public comments by a very dark man had been investigated and was already before a court, following legal advice from the Directorate of Public Prosecutions. ENUGU stated that since the case was before a court of competent jurisdiction, his determination rested solely with the judiciary. However, disclosed that the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department had invited Jimo for questioning of the allegations raised against him, and has also issued a formal invitation to Very Dark Man on July 30, 2026, requesting that he appear before investigations to substantiate the allegations he made publicly. Police said the move demonstrated its resolve to investigate all credible allegations of misconduct, irrespective of the rank of the officer involved or the status of the complainant, insisting that disciplinary actions within the force are guided by the Constitution, the Police Act 2020, police regulations, force orders, and other administrative procedures, while acknowledging Nigerians' constitutional right to freedom of expression and criticism of public institutions. The force warned against the spread of unsubstantiated allegations, as freedom of expression did not extend to defamation or attempts to compel disciplinary action through public pressure. The force urged Very Dark Man to honor the invitation extended by the force CID and allow both the administrative review and the judicial proceedings to run their course. The federal government has earmarked 2.47 trillion naira in the 2026 budget for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of 124 roads considered critical to Nigeria's economic activities. An analysis of the 2026 budget shows the road projects are spread across both northern and southern Nigeria, targeting key transport corridors that support agriculture, trade, and the movement of goods. Among the priority projects is a 105-kilometer road linking Borno and Kano State, for which the government has allocated 13.3 billion naira for dualization, expected to improve the transportation of agricultural produce from Borno, Yobe, Jigawa, and Bauchi states to Kano, commercial hub of the northwest. Another important road that the federal government is embarking on this year is the ENUGU-Port Harcourt Road, targeting at linking the southeast to the south-south, connecting major industrial, commercial, and logistics hubs that is expected to go up 19.6 billion naira. The government has also earmarked 1.4 billion naira for the construction of access roads linking the second Niger Bridge to both Onitsha and Anambra State and Asaba and Delta State. Federal government is also funding the Aba-Owerri-Korek-Benin Road, strategic economic corridor linking Akwa Ibom, Abia, and Imo State that connects major commercial, industrial, and agricultural centers in the south, south, and southeast, making it one of the region's most important highways, for which 7.7 billion naira will be paid, among numerous other projects scattered in various parts of the country. The National Human Rights Commission says abuse against older persons in Nigeria is becoming an overlooked human rights crisis, with relatives and community members responsible for most reported cases. The Commission is now strengthening the capacity of its staff to better identify, investigate, and respond to violations against the elderly. Correspondent Chimezi Zedema now reports.
Growing cases of abuse, neglect, and exploitation of older persons have prompted the National Human Rights Commission to begin intensive training of its staff as human rights defenders and advocates against elder abuse.
The Executive Secretary decided to hold this training because we received several complaints on elder abuse, and the fact that people need to know that certain things that happen to older persons is not because they are witches or wizards, and people need to know how to take care of their parents, for example. When your parents get old, you need to know that that person needs care, and the government also needs to realize that older persons' rights are to be protected.
The Commission says many elderly Nigerians continue to suffer physical violence, emotional abuse, financial exploitation, neglect, and harmful traditional practices, often at the hands of those closest to them.
It will shock you to know that most times they are relatives. From the complaints we received so far, I want to say maybe 80% of the complaints we've received, they are from relatives or community members. So they are the ones that really perpetuate the crime.
Officials also stress that while Nigeria has constitutional and international legal frameworks protecting older persons, effective implementation remains the biggest challenge.
The 1999 Constitution as amended, that Constitution, that relates to every Nigerian. Let's start with the national. That Constitution relates to every Nigerian, which means that all Nigerians, ought to be free from discrimination. They have to be free from inhuman and degrading treatment. They have to be free from, in fact, that everything that will infringe their human rights, they should be free from those things. Okay. Now we also have the regional and international instruments, which Nigeria has acceded to. So the government itself should ensure that, apart from acceding to these laws, which is okay, implementation should be key.
Experts at the training noted that elder abuse extends beyond physical assault to include emotional humiliation, denial of inheritance, financial exploitation, pension-related neglect, and harmful cultural practices, many of which remain largely underreported because victims fear further victimization. They called for stronger community support systems, sustained public awareness campaigns, and stricter punishment for perpetrators to discourage abuse.
Our call for action, like we came today, is to build a support system. We are calling for support systems across every state of Nigeria and local government, either in community-based or religious bodies-based or whatever, to be able to identify and prevent elder abuse.
Participants described the training as an important step towards improving how the Commission handles complaints involving older persons, while also challenging the growing practice of branding elderly people as witches and wizards.
We're keeping in line with the mandate that allows us to protect and promote the rights of the older persons in Nigeria. You know that the older persons in Nigeria are a set of people who have given so much, both to families, to societies, and to the nation at large. But very often, their rights are being violated. It is for that reason that the National Human Rights Commission has come up with this training to let us all know, the participant that it is very important that we uphold the rights of the older persons in Nigeria.
We should come together. We should find a durable solution, not a short solution, of how to support the elderly full time. It's not eye service, because a lot of policies are mostly eye service. We should find something that is sustainable, that is the reality of life, and something we can trust.
The Commission urged Nigerians to treat older persons with dignity, report cases of abuse wherever they occur, and remember that safeguarding the rights of the elderly is a shared responsibility that reflects the values of the society. In Abuja, Chimeze Izadima, reporting for Signature Television.
Minister of Transportation and the African Democratic Congress Vice Presidential candidate for the 2027 election, Rotimi Amechi, has defended Catholic Cardinal John Onayeka against allegations that his criticisms of President Bola Tinubu's administration was politically motivated. Amechi said the former Archbishop of Abuja was not backing any political party or candidate, but was speaking out over the hardship, poverty, and corruption confronting Nigerians. The former Transport Minister, who appeared on a live television program, said the only thing that pains the Cardinal is the level of indiscretion, poverty, and corruption in the country. Amechi maintained that the cleric had done nothing wrong by speaking publicly and insisted that religious leaders have a duty to hold governments accountable whenever they believe Nigerians are suffering. He also criticized the presidency's response to an Anayika, saying government officials should engage religious leaders with respect rather than attempt to silence them. However, taking an opposing view, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, faulted Catholic bishops over the call on the Independent National Electoral Commission to maintain neutrality in the 2027 elections. Wike said during a media chat, which was held in Abuja, that they should remain objective in the assessment of electoral umpire. Wike said the allegation by the Catholic bishops that INEC is biased can send a signal to the public about conduct and independence of electoral umpire. The Kano State House of Assembly has suspended the chairman of Bagwai, Bebeji and Rogo local government areas for 3 months for allegations of financial misappropriation, abuse of office, and other acts of misconduct. The resolution followed the adoption of a report of the House Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs presented by its chairman, Aliyu Muhammad, during a plenary presided over by Speaker Ismail Falgore. Muhammad said the committee investigated separate petitions against the 3 council chairmen after the Assembly referred the complaints to it for legislative scrutiny. Said the committee examined documentary evidence obtained from the affected councils and held interactive sessions with their legislative councils before arriving at its findings. Committee said it established cases of alleged misappropriation of public funds in Bagwai local government area, abuse of office and persistent violations of due process in contract awards and execution in Bebeji council area, while the chairman of Rogo local government council was accused of undermining government policies, abusing his office and misappropriating funds meant for feeder road construction and electrification projects. Following an unanimous voice vote, they also adopted the committee's recommendations, following which the Speaker, Falgore, announced their suspension. 3 council chairmen for 3 months, while vice chairmen take over in acting capacities pending the outcome of the investigation. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating the alleged establishment and operations of a Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council says it will interrogate the purported Director General of the Council, Prince Adeniyi Adeyemi, at an undisclosed location while he remains in police custody. The development came after the Managing Director of Divine Diplomacy, Nigeria Limited, Benga Collins, told the lawmakers that he paid 400 million naira to Adeyemi after allegedly being promised a contract to renovate and furnish what was presented as the official residence of the agency's Director General. Collins said he believed the organization was a genuine federal government institution because Adeyemi operated from an office in the Federal Secretariat, Abuja, moved with security personnel and official vehicles bearing government number plates, and received visitors in what appeared to be an authentic government office. Collins, a graduate of Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, said he first met Adeyemi, whom he described as a fellow indigene of Agbogbosho, during a program in their hometown, December 2024, and that Adeyemi introduced himself as the Director General of both Presidential Economic Advisory Council and the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council. The businessman said Adeyemi later informed them that he had been allocated an official residence as Director General and wanted Divine Diplomacy Nigeria Limited to handle its renovation and furnishing. That he had raised the money from business associates who trusted him because he had personally visited Adeyemi's office. According to him, 380 million naira was paid in 4 installments between May and June 2025 into a guaranteed trust bank account belonging to World Entrepreneurs Limited, but a balance of 20 million naira was paid on July 29, 2025 into an Access Bank account belonging to Sunshine Confectionery and Catering Services. Committee was constituted to investigate the circumstances surrounding the alleged establishment and operations of the council, following allegations of impersonation, forgery, financial impropriety, and the unlawful use of government facilities and official insignia. It is also examining how the purported council allegedly operated, the identities of those involved, the source of its funding, and whether public institutions or officials aided its activities. Still to come, Armed man arrested near Trump's golf course ahead of president's visit. Police raid Starbucks Korea headquarters over a Tank Day fiasco. Stay with us.
Signature TV. News in your pocket.
The World Bank wants developing countries to embrace artificial intelligence technology tools to deliver better governance outcomes. Chief economist of the World Bank Group, ENUGU, who spoke at the launch of the organization's annual World Development Report, warned that the risk being left behind if they failed to do so. Gill said that AI has thrown developing economies a lifeline which they must embrace, saying that they do not need large models or big data centers to reap its benefits. He advocated for the adaptation of lower-cost AI tools to local conditions to deliver results in the health, education, justice, and agricultural sectors. Advanced AI models, likely developed in the United States and China, offer the ability to quickly analyze data and automate many tasks that otherwise take skilled humans longer to do. The AI models, however, require huge data centers and large amounts of complex computing power due to massive amounts of electricity and water with implications for climate change. Several people have been arrested in Egypt over an alleged plot by fake judges to defraud people of their money. Egypt's Ministry of Interior said the alleged scam involved fabricated scenes in court and impersonating a judge on social media. They confessed to forming a criminal gang, taking money from citizens by falsely claiming they could allocate housing from government agencies, filming photos and videos inside the courthouse while wearing the judicial sash to boost its credibility. They also admitted in staging fake court scenes with the help of others. State-owned newspaper Al Amiran said several suspects believed to have taken part in the plot were detained and referred for an expedited criminal trial. The plot reportedly came to light when authorities launched an investigation when a man claimed to have been defrauded by a man falsely presenting himself as a judge. The main suspect was then arrested with police seizing a firearm, judicial search, and identity cards bearing his fake judicial title. The paper added court employees were also detained and questioned with them, claiming the main suspect had told them he worked for one of Egypt's judicial authorities. The U.S. president said the Straits of Hormuz would open very soon, or Iran will be hit very hard as oil prices fell for a 3-week low amid hopes of a deal. The U.S. president was speaking to journalists after Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent both said talks had progressed to allow shipments potentially to resume later this week. The cost of a barrel of Brent crude, the global benchmark for oil prices, fell by almost 5% to under $80 on the news of supply disruptions potentially being eased, continued to move lower on Wednesday, down by about 0.7% in Asian trading. But the failure of previous talks in recent months to de-escalate the conflict has led to a volatile oil market, with motorists ultimately being hit by higher fuel prices. U.S. Central Command said its southern route through the Straits of Hormuz remains free and open for all commercial vessels seeking to transit the international waterway, along with a drop in Brent crude. Authorities in California have arrested a man who was seen near a golf course owned by President Donald Trump in the Los Angeles area ahead of a president's visit for a fundraising dinner there. According to the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, Jenny Joan Tile was found with a pistol and illegal ammunition walking through the golf course grounds, taking photographs and videos, and appearing to monitor security planning activities. Sheriff's Department said that Tile was arrested after plainclothes federal agents reported a suspicious person to local authorities at midday. They discovered that it was being sought in connection to a robbery by the El Segundo Police Department about 25 kilometers north of Rancho Palos Verdes, a wealthy coastal enclave known for its hills and scenic cliffs. Authorities searched him and found he was carrying a 60-round magazine containing hollow point ammunition. with a loaded magazine containing hollow point ammunition were found in his vehicle, which was parked at a golf course. California, which has some of the strictest gun laws in the U.S., has banned magazines capable of holding more than 10 bullets. The European Union has praised Spain's response to the migrant crisis in Ceuta following a meeting of the bloc's interior ministers. A meeting was held after several EU members expressed concern over Spain's handling of the crisis, with Italy describing the images from Ceuta. Speaking afterwards, EU Commissioner Magnus Brenner said the incident had been a test of European resilience and border security, which he said it had successfully passed. Brenner added that the EU had offered Spain emergency financial support to strengthen its borders to manage the crisis, but it is unknown exactly what led to the tens of thousands of migrants to cross from Morocco to Ceuta in a span of just a few hours last week. Minister Fernando Grande Malasca said that around 72,000 migrants crossed into the Spanish territory in North Africa, that an estimated 70,000 have since been returned to Morocco. At least 75 people died on the Spanish side of the border, while 11 deaths were reported in Morocco. South Korean police have raided the national headquarters of Starbucks over defamation claims surrounding a controversial marketing campaign. Hundreds of people were believed to have been killed by military forces in Starbucks, Korea. Many felt the tank was a reference to vehicles deployed to crush pro-democratic protesters, and the promotion sparked a mass boycott movement. Reports estimate that hundreds were killed by the forces of military dictator Chung Dong-wan on what is now remembered as a day of national trauma for South Koreans, and a day held sacred by many in the country. Shinsegae Group, which operates Starbucks in Korea, said it had launched an internal investigation into the campaign, conducted that the mistake was unintentional. It added that the team had planned the promotion did not draw the connection to the historic event, and the upper management had failed to spot it as well. South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung criticized the campaign, saying it insults the victims and the struggle of Gwangju residents. Russia has attacked Ukraine with ballistic missiles and drones, killing at least 17 people on Wednesday. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky disclosed that at least 34 people were injured after residential buildings, a railway station and warehouses were hit. Ukraine, who has consistently urged allies for more US-made Patriot missile interceptors to defend against Russian ballistics, has not reported intercepting any of the missiles in the overnight attack. The Russian Defense Ministry said it had struck logistic hubs and supply centers in Kiev and the surrounding region. It also said it had also hit 3 cargo vessels which were transporting weapons and military equipment near the Black Sea port of Odessa. Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said there were fears people could be trapped under rubble. Russia has intensified attacks on Kiev in recent weeks, while Ukraine has also increased its attacks on Russian civilian infrastructure, including power facilities. Sports. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Team Nigeria for their historic outing at the 2026 Commonwealth Games, saying they represented the country with honor. In a statement by presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga, President noted that the Nigerian contingent performed with courage, dignity and pride, expressed appreciation to the athletes, coaches, technical officials, medical personnel, administrators, and all those whose dedication and sacrifice made Nigeria's participation at the Games possible. President Tinubu said his government is committed to investing in sports development and creating more opportunities for the country's athletes to excel. Team Nigeria won 24 medals, 10 gold, 7 silver, and 7 bronze in a competition which ended on Saturday and finished 7th on the overall medal table, emerging as Africa's highest-ranked nation in the Commonwealth Games. The outing is one of the country's best performances at the Commonwealth Games. Meanwhile, the Super Falcons head coach, Justin Madugu, says his side is fully focused on securing victory against Egypt in the final Group C match of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations and taking control of the qualification hopes. Speaking at a pre-match press conference on Tuesday, Madugu said the team had carefully analyzed all possible qualification scenarios and was determined not to depend on results elsewhere. Madugu stressed that his players are approaching the counter with a winning mentality and that they are going to win the game and get a result that will qualify them for the next stage of the competition. Veteran defender Signaturetv also underscored the importance of the clash, describing it as the team's biggest test so far in the tournament. Egypt heading to the encounter desperate for points after losing their opening 2 matches, while Nigeria know that victory will keep their quest for the 11th continental title on track. The kickoff time for Nigeria's game against the Egyptians is 9 p.m. Nigerian time at the Olympic Stadium in Rabat, with Malawi topping the group on 6 points, while Nigeria and Zambia have 3 points each. Defending champions need a win over Egypt's Cleopatras to ensure progression to the knockout stage. That's the wrap on Global News. I am Barry Kumo Ado, thanking you very much for watching.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment